Started off working at my mom's house, but I'm still stuck inside my mom's house. Dreaming about 10 bands when I walk it out. Then I wake up, boy, what you talking about? You ain't never gonna catch me slipping. Just wait until you see me winning. And I'ma tell you from the jump, I just hope you listen. Homie, wait until you see me winning.
Welcome back to another edition of Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Tex Armstreet.
And around here, we just don't blow any coverages.
You know, we don't blow coverages, but you know who blew some coverage last week? Papa John.
Yeah, I heard about that. Blaming his business troubles on another business.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting statement that he made. So his company, their revenue was down 24%, right? So with their revenue being down 24%, obviously you can't blame yourself. You got to blame somebody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the American way, is it not?
You just don't take action for your faults, and so, hindsight is always 20/20. People always, it's always better after the fact. So he comes out and he says the reason that his profit is down 24% is because of the NFL protests. And so
somebody else taking a shot at Kaepernick.
Yeah, pretty much blaming it, on what he started. And the things that happened after that are astounding. So he was down 24% this year. You know how much money he lost in one day in the course of a 24-hour cycle?
I'm not sure, but I know you'll tell me.
I don't think... After those comments, he lost $70 million. $70 million from the time that his statements went over the air to the next day at that time, he lost $70 million in a day.
Wow.
I would take 24%.
Yeah, and he's going to blame the loss in revenue on the NFL.
And see so that number was just that day because it's new, it's relevant. They haven't even assessed his losses since then.
Yeah. He
hasn't come out and stated nothing. So this man comes out and speaks out of turn on something that he had no business. Like, I understand you're with the NFL, that's your partner, whatever. But it's like the Bob McNair comments. You have to be more self-aware.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Papa John, he should have took the Domino's approach. Instead of blaming the NFL, he could have just been like Domino's where our pizza kind of sucks. We're going to improve our pizza. Yeah, and I'm not saying Papa John's pizza sucks, but you can't blame the NFL.
Yeah, like when Domino's rolled out those commercials and all that stuff about like positive feedback, he's kind of got the rich man syndrome. You get stuck in a rut making all this money, then once you stop making money, you try to blame somebody because you think people are gonna, because the NFL ratings are down. So he was like, okay, so those people that are not watching are people who would support this belief. So he comes out and says that, and then it was like, yo, no sir, you got the wrong audience here. And then $70 million. I would love to even have $70 million to lose in the first place.
Right.
And then he just loses 70. Be on the lookout for Papa John and what is going to come after this. And
I'm interested to see what their PR firm is going to do.
Oh, it's a PR nightmare, man. I just don't know. It's like when people say, keep sports out of politics. Keep politics out of sports. You know what I'm saying? If that's what they're arguing, do it the same way the other way.
Yep.
And another group of people that also blow coverages a lot, NFL referees. And Russell Westbrook, even though he's in the NBA, had a very good soundbite, good interview after the game yesterday, talking about the advantages and disadvantages of favoritism in reffing. You have that. We'll play a clip for you.
Yeah, here's the clip.
They don't referee the same way all the time. They pick and choose when they want to do it, which is not fair in my opinion.
And Russell Westbrook is 100% accurate with that because that goes for the NBA and it definitely goes into the NFL.
Yeah, he's and if you couldn't hear it properly or clearly, he was just saying that the NFL refs play favoritism and that he gets calls.
The NBA refs.
Yeah, NBA refs get calls against other people that he doesn't get against himself, things of that nature, and I think it's true in all sports, MLB, NFL, all that.
And it was definitely at show yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think happened yesterday with the, Jalen Ramsey, he got ejected and he didn't even throw a punch. He had a little shove at the beginning. Yeah. You can see that. But then he comes in and gets shoved by AJ Green. And
he didn't get shoved.
Well, no. At first, he got
RKO'd.
And then AJ Green took it to an MMA fight. And so why do you think – what did the ref say and why do you think that it happened that way?
Well, First off, why I think it happened is because I think A.J. Green's frustrated. You know, he's an elite wide receiver, but, I mean, you can't get frustrated when an elite quarterback who's only in his second year and is only going to get better is completely shutting you down. He held A.J. Green to one catch before that. I understand getting frustrated, but Jalen Ramsey gives you a little shove, and I'd almost guarantee you Green's talking some trash. So, you know, you're going to give him a little shove, but you don't expect somebody to come up, pop off, grab you from the back of your head, throw you down. And I mean, what's A.J. Green doing throwing shots at his helmet? You know, that's going to hurt his wrist more than it hurts Jalen. But then the NFL refs ejects both of them and comes out later to say he ejected Ramsey because he thought he threw a punch.
Well, see, here's my take. One, my take is you have other referees to consult with. You have other referees. That's why there's not just one referee in any sport. Because you have to consult with your colleagues. So anybody, if I'm sitting at home on my couch eating potato chips, I can see that Jalen Ramsey didn't throw a punch. He had a little shove at the end, but that's nothing to cause for an ejection.
Yeah.
And then the referee, do you think that maybe, you know, the league, because this league has blackballed people like Kaepernick and stuff like that, and sometimes they play, like, you know, the NFL obviously doesn't like people like OBJ who seem bigger than the sport. You think that somebody like Jalen Ramsey, who has maybe had a history of being a little testy with other players, do you think that maybe played into it of why he would have thought, or you think it was just like the referee was just not doing his job correctly?
In my opinion, I mean, I can see how being testy throws it into it, but you can't throw out a player for, you know, having a little not friendly, but talking a little bit of trash.
Yeah,
it happens. I mean,
yeah.
Josh Norman does it every time he's out on the field, you know?
Josh Norman.
I mean, I think every cornerback's going to do it because that's a cornerback's job to, you know, look at the wide receiver lined up right across from them and tell him, I'm going to shut you down, you know? But no, I don't think Jalen Ramsey should have got ejected, but it happened. Nothing we can do now. Like you said, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
I just feel like that referee in particular is going to have to take a better approach next time and not just say, well, I thought.
Yeah, true. He's got to take more decisions because these types of decisions, they affect people's seasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like, say for instance, you know, they win the game or they don't lose the game on a play that player who got ejected would have been covering. Like, say they would have blown a coverage like we never do, and he goes deep into the end zone, and Jalen Ramsey's not covering somebody, and they catch the ball. Everyone's going to be able to argue, well, if Jalen Ramsey would have been in the game,
yeah, that probably would not have happened.
yeah. And another big miss yesterday.
Yeah,
was in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean the ref from the Jags-Bengals game should have been at the Tampa Bay Saints game because if you thought somebody threw a punch, it was evident. It was evident.
And I mean, and so Lattimore was messing around with Winston, and you know was kind of like big brother little brother type deal, and Winston was taking it at, you know, you can see in the video that's played everywhere on social media and things like that. You can see the video of Winston pointing at Lattimore like ha 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 ha, you know, and then here comes big steaming, you know, 18-wheeler truck. Evans comes in out of nowhere and flattens Lattimore.
Yeah, Mike Evans, like you said earlier, he channeled his inner Taylor Lewan.
Oh yeah, you know Taylor Lewan. He goes out there, he gets excited, and he's like, man, because you know when he got pumped up this weekend, he was throwing some obscenities out there, and he was like, man, let's go, forget the refs, forget the other team, let's go, and he's pumped out. But you don't even when you're watching this video of this Mike Evans Lattimore thing, you don't even see Evans, and then out of nowhere, he just steamrolls him, and then does not get ejected.
No.
So how are you going to throw? This is the thing. Uniformity is a referee's best friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you going to think that Jalen Ramsey throws a punch, and then you have everybody and their mama and grandmama saw Evan, this big giant man, literally steamroll a guy standing still. He had full steam ahead, and you're telling me he doesn't get ejected for that? That could have, just standing there like that, Lattimore could have torn an ACL. He could have had a broken hand when he comes down and lands. You're going to tell me you're not going to throw him out?
Yeah, I mean, could have broke anything, you know, his neck, for crying out loud. That's a little...
So what do you think? So, guy gets thrown out for not throwing a punch. Why do you think Evans wasn't ejected?
I have no idea. I mean, I feel like, they should have just swapped refs, you know?
it doesn't... there's very little things in this world that don't make sense to me, and that doesn't make sense.
But another reason I could see why Evans went over there and thrown that punch, though, is because, I mean, Lattimore was shutting him down. And, I mean, people can say, well, there was porous quarterback play, but at the end of the day, Mike Evans is a top-notch wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get frustrated, and especially getting shut down by a rookie.
That's going to hurt your pride.
Yeah, and I understand him getting frustrated, but at the end of the day, you can't run over there and just,
This wasn't
that.
For anybody who hasn't seen this, this was not a friendly shove.
No, he was trying to hurt him.
I don't know if he was trying to hurt him for sure, but he was trying to send a message.
Oh, message was delivered to Lattimore. I mean,
I'm talking
message received.
I'm talking Dwight Howard Superman dunk. You know what I mean? Like it was that message got there loud and clear. Everybody from Florida to Texas to New York to Oregon, everybody heard it.
This land is my land,
yeah.
From sea to shining sea.
Yeah. It was, I don't know.
It's crazy.
And Lattimore's having a really good season too. That could have with the type of injury he could have gotten from a sideline brawl like that, could have hurt a season that is a very good season.
I mean, he's making a very strong case for being Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was taken in the first round, 11th pick by New Orleans. He was the 4th defensive player overall. But his stats for the year, he has 31 combined tackles, 26 of them being total tackles, with 5 of them being assists. He's got 1 forced fumble with 2 picks and a touchdown and 8 passes defended. And up through Week 8, I'm not sure with the Week 9 ratings, I'm not sure if they've been released yet, but up through Week 8, he was graded as the top cornerback in the league. And the man's a rookie.
He's a rookie, man. And
he's a rookie.
You got to think, somebody else that we've talked about on the show before too, Deshaun Watson, he was taking a pick before him.
Yeah.
And he's having a good year, and he's putting it all together, as a rookie, and he's doing great. And another big guy who's putting it all together right now is Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
He was the 27th pick by Buffalo, and their numbers are pretty similar. You know what I'm saying? He's got 31 combined tackles. He's got let's see what else he's got. He's got 12 passes defended. His season is going as well as Lattimore's season is. You know what I mean? And both of them have done really good, and like you said, they're both rookies. You know what I mean? And he's got an interception, he's got a forced fumble, and I don't understand how these guys are doing it as rookies.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. And if I'm looking at the stats on paper, if I'm just looking at paper, to me it could go either way. Honestly,
there's not. I don't really
because
I don't know if there's a clear favorite here.
Yeah, but here's what sells me. What tells me, because we're not looking at it on paper, we've seen the games. What sells me on Lattimore being Defensive Rookie of the Year is, look at this Saints defense. Yep. For the past several years, they've been the worst in the league, and all of a sudden, they're playing like a top-notch defense. They held Tampa Bay to 10 points. They've been on, and it's not just this one game thing. They've done it for several weeks now.
Well, Lattimore's the type of guy, and same thing with White, because the Buffalo Bills are doing decent. They're playing decent. And they've got a winning record, and both of these guys are the type of guys that can just come in, and they're not going to take over maybe like a J.J. Watt or somebody like that, but they are doing something that is helping boost an entire side of the ball for a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's Defensive Player of the Rookie Year. What is your pick for Offensive Player Rookie of the Year?
For Offensive Player Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Kareem Hunt. I think he's arguably one of the best draft picks Kansas City's ever made. Because going into the year, they thought they were just going to ride Spencer Ware, but he obviously goes down. But thank goodness they took the rookie from Toledo in the 3rd round. This season, he's had 155 rushing attempts for 800 yards, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. And he's also caught 32 balls and had 331 receiving yards with a 10.3 average per reception, with 2 touchdowns receiving and 4 touchdowns on the ground. That's 6 total TDs. In my opinion, he's definitely added another dimension to this Kansas City offense. And I also think he's a huge part in why Alex Smith has been so good this year, not throwing the ball away, not having to worry about him throwing picks, is because he can rely on Kareem Hunt coming out of the backfield. He can check down to Hunt. I just think Hunt's having a phenomenal year.
You know who I think is probably one of the most reliable, or was one of the most reliable players in the game until he went down?
Who's that?
Deshaun Watson.
Are you about to tell me Deshaun Watson should be Rookie of the Year?
Deshaun Watson is Rookie of the Year. Period.
Maybe Rookie of the first half of the year.
No, sir. No, sir. He is Rookie of the Year. Period. Okay? This man is not going to play the rest of his season.
This is a scorching hot take.
Okay? He's not playing the rest of his season, all right?
Yep.
So these are the stats from he started in 7 games and played in 8. Okay? Here's his stats, okay? He had 204 attempts for 126 completion. That's good for 61.8%. He has 1,700 yards, averages 8.3 yards a play. Okay, that's almost a first down on every single play.
Yeah.
He has 19 touchdowns, which at the time of his injury was the most in the NFL as a rookie. Okay, and he only has 8 interceptions and 2 fumbles. His QBR 103 as a rookie. Okay, this man comes into Texas, gets to sit on the bench for 3 quarters while Tom Savage sucks it up like a ShamWow, and then Deshaun Watson comes in, scores a touchdown on his first drive ever, and then proceeds to take this offense to places nobody ever thought it could go. In 7 games starting, Deshaun Watson is Rookie of the Year on the offense, and I don't think that it's even close.
Yeah.
You can throw Hunt at me. You can throw who. I don't care who you throw at me.
Well, what sells me on Hunt is, he's finishing the season.
I don't care. I don't care if he's finishing the season. Watson doesn't need to finish the season. That's how good he is. Because, in the MLB sometimes guys get the batting title and they get injured and they miss like the last 2 months of the season or whatever.
Yeah.
They were so good they still win.
But there's a huge difference because how many games did they play beforehand? That's still a huge sample size.
Nah, listen. You can't. I'm not arguing, okay? I am because I'm doing it right now. But you can't. If Deshaun Watson does not have Offensive Rookie of the Year at the end of the season, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
He was my pick. If he would have continued to play the way that he's playing, the way that he was playing, okay, transforming the offense, he gave Will Fuller 7 touchdowns on 11 receptions.
Yeah.
11 receptions.
That's what happens when you're a deep threat, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear your point.
And before he went down, if there's another guy in the NFL at the same position who's a big bad man right now,
and we both agree on,
and Deshaun Watson would have been the MVP had it not been for this.
No. I retract my statement.
Had it not been for the season that this guy Carson Wentz over there in Philly is having.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson would have been MVP.
If you would have told me at the beginning of the year Carson Wentz was going to lead the Eagles to 8-1, I wouldn't have believed you.
Now listen, Carson Wentz, he was good last year. He was decent.
Yeah, but he's definitely progressed.
Yeah, he's taken his level of game to the deepest parts of the NFL.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz has only played 9 games this season, and through those 9 games, he has 23 touchdowns, 5 picks, thrown for 2,262 yards, and he has a 104.1 passer rating, QBR. That is absolutely crazy.
How many touchdowns did you say he had?
23.
Okay, he's also played 2 more weeks, than Deshaun Watson started, and Deshaun Watson had 19.
Okay, how many picks does Deshaun Watson have?
8, but we need to focus on the positive, okay? We don't need to focus so much on the negative. And his passer rating, his rating is a 103. So to say, now I can agree, that it's kind of outrageous to say that he would have been the MVP because of the season he's having. But to say that there's absolutely no idea if he would have continued the way he was, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But Carson Wentz, he's having a great season. The Eagles just added Ajayi. He got a touchdown in his first game, which he hadn't done
You can
all
see
year.
a big difference in him running behind that O-line versus Miami's.
And so I think that, and like you said, both of our consensus clear-cut pick, mark our words now, buys dinner, if we're right, it's Carson Wentz. There's nobody else who's doing the things that Carson Wentz is doing for an entire team.
Yeah.
He makes the defense better. He makes the offense better. He makes the running. He's making everybody in Philadelphia look like geniuses.
Yeah. And, speaking of MVP, we can switch over to the NBA and talk about your man, the Greek freak, Giannis.
Man, let me tell you about this guy, okay?
And I'm not going to say his last name. I'll murder it, but I know my man Tex here is going to give it an attempt.
Antetokounmpo.
Oh, Antetokounmpo.
It's a very tricky last name, but so this is his 4th year in the league, okay?
Yeah.
And so like he was good, he was great, whatever. But there was a lot of if you watch the off-season shows and the off-season predictions, this guy was like he was brewing something special because of the way he was preparing. He got bigger, he put more weight on.
He even said he was going to be the MVP.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he came out and even Kobe Bryant had mentioned it, because since Kobe Bryant was retired, everybody
if
was
you can get Kobe's endorsement, you're doing something
everybody
right.
was saying about Kobe, like, hey, you're retired, give us your prediction, you know what I'm saying, do this, do that. And so Kobe Bryant had brought it into the conversation. His challenge or whatever was to get MVP. And so through this season, he's shooting 58% from the field. And a lot of people say his jumper's not that good.
Yeah.
But he's shooting 33% from the three-point line.
That's proof that, granted 33% is nothing spectacular, but that's proof that he's building his game. He's evolving his game. He's trying to develop that outside shot, and it's obviously working.
Oh, yeah. And see, so like with that, he also has 9.9 assists or rebounds per game, 5 assists, and then about the same in blocks and steals, which is about 1.5.
Yeah, so he's almost averaging a double-double.
And this is the big one though. This is the one that like a lot of people don't ever really look at. He's only having 3 assists or 3 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
He's only you know what I'm saying? He's only averaging 3 turnovers.
That's huge. And I know the NBA is only, a few weeks in. Yeah. But if he can continue this pace of play,
well, there's only one game where he drops less than 28 points.
Yeah.
And so and stats only get you so far in the sports world, but it's the feeling that he gives it. This man, okay, 6'11", 222 pounds, is running the point guard position.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I ain't trying to compare him to a rookie, but you always hear about Ben Simmons being able to play the point. But Giannis is more proven than Ben Simmons, and he's playing the point at 6'11".
You know who he reminds me of at the point? And this is going to be a lot of people may be like, oh, you can't do that. The big one that I compare him to, he's even bigger than he was. Magic Johnson.
Wow.
Because Magic. No, but I'm not saying he's as good as Magic.
Yeah,
Johnson.
I know, but that's a good comparison.
Magic Johnson was a big point guard.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a big guy and he was dominating guys, but he still had everything to go around. Because Magic Johnson shouldn't have been a point guard. Okay.
No.
But he was, and he was a big man, but he also had all the skills to go with it. If you see Giannis, he has the dribbling skills. He has the defensive skills. He has the offensive skills. He's the guy, if you take him and put him on any other team and you make him the number one guy on that team, he's going to make that team better. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna make it to where the team is going to win more ball games. And it's like just his preparation, just the way that he's going about this. He's taken over, and he's still got weapons like Middleton. He's got Jabari Parker for another season. Guys like that. He's got those guys that are. Thon Maker could be one of the best centers in the game. So he's got those guys that are making him better, and he's making the team better. If he doesn't win MVP, if he keeps this up and he doesn't win MVP, I will never watch another NBA game.
Well, another person who's making a fine case at MVP and definitely had an MVP performance last night was James Harden. Last night alone, he played 35 minutes, shot 19 of 25 for the field.
Hold on, before you finish that, he played only 35 minutes?
35 minutes.
So he didn't even play the last 5 minutes?
He played 35 minutes total. I'm sure he played the last 5 minutes.
Jeez.
But he shot 19 of 25 from the field with a field goal percentage of 76%.
Whoa.
He was 7 of 8 from behind the arc. Made 11 of 12 free throws that's 92%. He had 2 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, and 56 points.
And this man didn't even play the whole game.
He didn't even play the full 42 minutes.
And if I remember correctly, he had about 35 points or so. It was a little bit more than that, and 13 assists through 3 quarters.
Crazy. On the season, he's averaging 29.5 points per game. If he's making a strong case for being MVP, he made a strong case last year.
I should say a lot of people said it was between him, LeBron, Steph, and West.
Yeah,
or Russell Westbrook, and I don't know if Houston can get over the hump though. It's just like because Chris Paul's out right now. That was their big trade in offseason. I just don't know if Harden's level of play would take Houston over the hump. Like, he's playing great, but I feel like it's getting lost on a team that's not.
A lot of times what people forget about most valuable player, it's not who wins the most games. It's about who's most valuable to their team.
Yeah, but how valuable are you to your team if you don't even make the playoffs? Or you take a first-round exit? You know, like, I understand that argument of, like, it's...
Well, I mean, look at Westbrook last season. He won MVP. If he's not on the Thunder, they don't sniff the playoffs last season.
Yeah, you're right. That's one thing I wrestle with a lot is, like, whether it is the most valuable team versus player. Because I mean, like, going into other sports like we always do, like Trout, you know, he hasn't won a lot of games in the postseason and stuff, but he should be MVP. He's won it before. So I just don't know. It's just for you to be an MVP, which is what Russ did. Because if Harden wasn't on the Rockets, they would still at least have a winning season in my eyes.
I don't know. Not being in that West, the West is strong.
I'm not saying they're going to win like the West or make it to the playoffs.
I don't know if they would go above 500. Not with if you factor Paul being out.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I really struggle with that. Because it's like it's sometimes people call it the LeBron effect.
Yeah.
LeBron James, he makes his team better, but sometimes he is the reason they lose.
Yeah, I mean,
Kyrie, whether he did or didn't, Kyrie's got traded.
Yeah.
One of the best point guards, in my opinion, the best point guard, minus that's not named Russell Westbrook. He got traded because he didn't feel like he wanted to play with
You
him.
think Kyrie's better than Steph?
By far.
By far?
Steph Curry is
Wow.
good, but here's the thing. The Celtics right now are like 8-2 or 8-3. Kyrie lost Gordon, and he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
You take Steph Curry, you take him off the Warriors, and you put him with a team that has 2 or 3 really good guys. Say you put him in Portland, or you put him with the Nuggets or something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that where they have like
he's still going to ball out.
He's going to ball out, but is he going to be what he is now?
Well, I mean, you got to think Draymond Green and Klay Thompson hasn't always been what they are now.
Yeah, but
that whole team started with Steph.
Yeah, it did, but I just Steph is.
Therefore, that makes your point invalid.
No. What I'm about to say is Steph Curry is very good.
Yeah.
But he's not better than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has a better all-around complete game. Kyrie plays better defense. Kyrie has better, like he can get to the basket better. Steph Curry's really good. He's a really good shooter, and he's very good with the basketball IQ, but Kyrie Irving has a better complete game.
I know a way we can settle this is I'm going to put this in the hands of our listeners on Twitter. We're going to put a poll after the show's posted on Twitter. We'll retweet it, everything, get it out there. We want people to vote on it. Who's better, Steph or Kyrie?
I don't trust it.
But with the MVP candidates, James Harden's going to be taking on, LeBron in his next game. Houston's going to be hosting Cleveland Thursday night.
And LeBron James, he's been running to point guard too, past couple games, and he's dropped 57 points a couple days ago, and he just said LeBron James just came out and said, I feel the best that I ever have in my life or in my career. You know what I'm saying?
Of course he's going to say that after he scores 50 plus.
But
he's also, after the game, he's also going to talk about how, well, I missed 11 shots.
Yeah, he missed 11 shots. He wants to make them all. That doesn't make sense, Chase. You want as a player to make every shot. If he comes out and says, you know what, I made 27 shots. Yeah. But he said I missed 11. Michael Jordan said...
Who keeps count of how many they missed? That, to me, makes him sound so selfish. Selfish.
You know who does that?
Who does that?
The greatest players of the game.
Oh, God.
Michael Jordan has come out and said, I've missed 5,000 shots in my career.
Well, Michael Jordan was also good enough to take all those shots, and he also dominated with the flu. LeBron James can't even dominate with a freaking cramp.
Listen. Say what you will about LeBron James, okay? You say what you want, but you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
LeBron James, other than somebody named Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, is the best player to play the game. Okay?
I'm not doubting that.
And so, like, it's a meticulous thing of the greatest people to worry about. And then Kobe Bryant was a little bit different because Kobe Bryant didn't care. As long as he won the game, he didn't care.
No, he had that killer instinct.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't going to miss that many. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to, like, care about the shots he missed. But
he missed so many shots, but he was good enough to take those shots.
I agree with that. And LeBron James is just he's having a good year.
I mean, he's a freak.
He's having a decent year, but his team's not doing that good.
No, they're 4-6.
And a lot of that is just kind of like they're just kind of lost offensively.
Well, I mean, they make that trade sending Kyrie. They don't have Isaiah Thomas, a big part they got in that trade.
I think they're gonna be a completely different team in the second half. You know? But the other thing that kind of you're talking about, you know, him missing those shots and him saying it rubs you the wrong way. Kind of what rubs me the wrong way is when he plays for like a call. You know, like when he plays for a foul and he cries about it and he thinks that, you know, I should get this call. And there's a lot of times if you watch clips of him play, and it happens in the NFL too.
I mean, it happens in almost every sport.
Every sport that you can play to a call, it happens, soccer, all that. He will miss his opportunities on defense because he's barking at the ref about a play, about a call. He'll lay there and be like, oh, man, he hit my eye. It hurt so much. He'll do that. And then he'll miss a block down back. He'll miss covering his man. And you don't play to get a foul. You know what I'm saying? You don't play to a call. You
know what my point is on this, my take on this argument is? I think Herm Edwards said it best. And I'm going to let you hear what he said.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I mean, 100% right.
He's right. You play to win the game.
You don't play for a call. You know how many times I've seen LeBron pull it up from three instead of shooting over the guy or making a move to get his shot? He just leans in and to get the 3 free throws. Come on now, and that's every player.
It really is. It's kind of like an accepted. It's kind of like an accepted thing in sports now. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people do that. Like, you'll see wide receivers in the NFL. They'll go up to catch a ball. They have every single opportunity to catch that ball, but they play to get a defensive pass interference so that way they can get a spot foul. And a lot of times, it doesn't even work out for them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it's even we can say what we want about LeBron and his crybaby after effects and stuff, but
he's still at the end of the day one of the best to ever do.
Oh yeah, and with him and with the game of basketball in the hands of people like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Giannis, James Harden, Steph Curry, with it in the hands of people like that, basketball is set up for success. The NBA is set up for some success for a long time to come. It's very marketable and it's a very good sport to follow for average fans because the game's not that long. It's timed. It's like, okay, boom, let's get in, let's get out, let's cover the stats, let's do what we got to do, and you're out. And so I think having those two MVPs go up against each other on Thursday, I think it's going to be a great matchup, and I think it could. I don't know. Maybe it could. If LeBron James gets a win over a fellow MVP candidate, maybe it rejuvenates him.
Yeah, maybe it boosts the whole team.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just, but I do hate when players are crybabies. And they play for calls, and when they don't get it, they miss their opportunity.
You know one sport you don't see a lot of crybabies in? That's got to be hockey.
Oh, hockey. I mean, hockey, you got some of the toughest guys in hockey, you know, and hockey's one of those sports that's its own entity. You got guys getting hit in the face with pucks, and some guys are good, some guys are bad, but nobody ever really cries about it.
Yeah.
And the NHL is also on the come up.
Yeah,
it's they've got some big things happening. The NBA and the NFL just had a crazy trade season, and so they're doing a lot of stuff. And for this next segment, we got our resident hockey expert Noah McKay, and there was a big trade last night, 3-team trade. What does it mean for those teams' futures? Who was involved in the trade, and just what are your opinions? And how do you think it affects the league in general?
Yeah, so Matt Duchene is was a forward for the Colorado Avalanche. It's been rumored that he's wanted out for about the past year from the Avalanche, who've been the worst team in the league. So there was a 3-team trade last night where Colorado sent Duchene to Ottawa, and Ottawa sent forward Kyle Turris to Nashville. And then in return, Colorado receives Shane Bowers, Andrew Hammond, Samuel Girard, Vladislav Kamenev, a second-round pick, a first-round pick, and a third-round pick. So Colorado comes out with a hole, but they don't receive any top-6 guy. Whereas Matt Duchene's a top-6 center. He'll be moving to Ottawa, and Kyle Turris is a top-6 forward that'll be going to Nashville. It had been rumored for a while that Nashville was interested in Matt Duchene, but lately it seemed like they were too far off because Joe Sakic, who's the general manager in Colorado, wanted a top-4 D-man, and the Predators were not entertaining that offer. So we heard last week about Monday that there was this rumored 3-team trade, but it looked like it fell through because we didn't know why it was going to fall through. But then late last night, this breaks out. And it really, the only team that this doesn't clearly help would be Ottawa, because Ottawa gets Matt Duchene and gives up Kyle Turris, who have very similar numbers. Kyle Turris actually has a bigger points per game average across his career. And in turn, they give up 2 players and 2 picks for not much of an upgrade. For Nashville, they give up Samuel Girard and Vladislav Kamenev, who seem to be 2 of their most promising prospects. But in return, they get Kyle Turris, who is what everybody helped Vladislav Kamenev to become. So it seems like this helps. And then Colorado gets a bunch of prospects and picks. They're a rebuilding team, so they just need to rack up the assets that they can get. So moving on, we'll see if Ottawa gets anything out of this, but it definitely solidifies Nashville at the center position and helps Colorado.
So do you think that Nashville, building upon their Western Conference run last year and getting to the Stanley Cup, do you think that they're trying to go win now mode again?
Yeah.
And that this is one of those, kind of like with the PK Subban trade, they traded for the future, and then also for right now. Do you think that's what they're doing now?
Well, they definitely are in win now mode. They're selling out to win in 2018. They signed Kyle Turris to an extension. He's going to be in Nashville for 6 years, $36 million. And the biggest problem with the Predators and what's got them last year was they had a lack of center depth. When Ryan Johansson went down in the Western Conference Finals, they didn't really have anybody they could put on the first-line center. And when they went up against the Penguins and Sidney Crosby and Vingy Malkin, they got exposed there. And that's why they lost the cup. So they're clearly trying to solidify their center depth. And now they have one of the most stacked centers depths in the league with Ryan Johansson, Nick Bonino, Kyle Turris, Calle Yarncroke, and Colton Sissons. So they're certainly trying to win now. Now they have all those centers locked up for at least 4 more years, so they're definitely going to be set for the future. But them selling off their prospects, which they've done in this trade and 2 years ago when they traded Seth Jones for Ryan Johansson, they've sold off a lot of their prospects. So their farm system is depleting, but their current team looks stacked and poised for another cup run. And now they look poised to become the winners of the Central Division for the first time in their history.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Again, this is Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Tex Armstreet.
And you know we're not blowing any coverages.